Welcome to IEEE's Conference Organizer Training, developed by Meetings, Conferences, and Events, MCE. This training module will provide an overview on IEEE conference sponsorship. This conference sponsorship training module provides a detailed overview that can benefit new and experienced conference organizers. Conference organizers have the ability to enter into sponsorship agreements with other IEEE OUs or non-IEEE organizations. This is one of the most important elements of executing an IEEE conference. Listed on this slide are the key learning objectives covered during this training. We will go over the different types of conference sponsorships available, review the benefits and risks associated with working with sponsors, and detail the differences between sponsors and contributors. The overall objective is to enhance your understanding of conference sponsorship at IEEE and add value to your conference. This training module is broken into the 4 sections noted on this slide. During this training, we will explain what are the different types of conference sponsorship IEEE offers and explain in detail how they differ. We will discuss best practices when working with non-IEEE organizations. We will define the difference between conference supporters and official conference sponsors. We will show you a few ways to help identify potential sponsors for your conference. We will also review a basic communication recommendation for engaging IEEE OUs and maximizing your conference's value proposition. Lastly, we will discuss how meetings, conferences, and events, also known as MCE, can help you plan, organize, and execute your conference. Section 1. Types of conference sponsorships and the Memorandum of Understanding. The term IEEE conference sponsorship differs from typical sponsorship you see in today's business world. Conference sponsorship at IEEE refers to a percentage of the financial and technical responsibilities you are agreeing to manage on behalf of your OU. Now let's talk in more detail about the different types of IEEE conference sponsorships that are available to your OU. You can choose to have financial involvement in a conference or not. There are 2 types of sponsorships where your OU can have a financial stake. They are called sole sponsorship and co-sponsorship. Sole sponsorship indicates that your OU has full ownership for both the financial and technical responsibilities related to executing the conference. Co-sponsorship indicates that you are entering into a sponsorship arrangement where you share the financial and technical responsibilities of the conference with another IEEE OU or non-IEEE organization. Technical co-sponsorship is very different. Your OU has 0 financial accountability for the conference, but is responsible for providing substantial involvement and oversight of the technical program development and execution. We also provide the financial sponsors with the ability to use the IEEE brand. Now let's take a closer look at each sponsorship type. Sole sponsorship indicates that your OU has complete responsibility for the conference, both financially and technically. Your goal is to run a successful conference that produces a 20% surplus. If your conference produces a surplus, your OU will receive 100% of the surplus amount. If there is a deficit, your OU will absorb the loss. You can use the IEEE brand on all promotions, including putting the IEEE name into the conference title. As a sole-sponsored conference, You are responsible for all elements of planning and executing a successful conference, from venue selection to working with vendors and executing a marketing plan, just to mention a few. If you incur any legal challenges, please contact MCE, who will engage the IEEE legal staff on your behalf. You will need to complete the online conference application form and obtain approval from IEEE. And once approved, your conference will be promoted in the IEEE conference search. Co-sponsorship is when your OU decides to share the financial, technical, and overall conference execution with another IEEE OU or non-IEEE organization. The parties collectively determine a percentage share based roughly on the amount of work and resources each party is willing to contribute. If you are doing 70% of the work, you should request a 70-30 split. In this example, the surplus would be divided based on this predetermined percentage that is noted on the Memorandum of Understanding. The IEEE OU would receive $7,000 of the surplus, and the co-sponsor would receive $3,000. If there was a $10,000 deficit, the IEEE OU would be responsible for repayment of a $7,000 debt. Typically, the majority owner of the conference manages the conference's finances. Co-sponsorship. As the IEEE OU, you have a shared responsibility for all the elements of hosting a conference. You work with your other co-sponsors to determine what each party is responsible for. This arrangement is then documented on a Memorandum of Understanding, also known as an MOU. We will expand on the MOU in future slides. Completing an MOU is a good business practice. It confirms that all parties understand their role in executing the financial and technical responsibilities related to the conference. As previously mentioned, all conferences require that you complete the online conference application form and obtain approval from IEEE. When you agree to technically co-sponsor a conference, your OU will have zero financial involvement in the conference, but still has to be substantially involved in executing a high-quality technical program. You should have a sufficient role to assess and monitor the technical program and quality. We strongly suggest having your OU either participate by becoming a technical program chair, a track chair, or assign a sizable number of reviewers to the technical program committee. This is truly the only way for you and your OU to know that the conference proceedings quality is excellent and is representative of the IEEE brand. IEEE conducts random audits on conferences' proceedings to help ensure quality. We've learned that when an OU is not substantially involved in a conference's technical program, it increases the likelihood that there are concerns with the quality of the proceedings. In some extreme cases, conference proceedings can be rejected for publication in IEEE Explore by the Technical Program Integrity Committee. The TPIC is a committee made up of IEEE volunteers that monitor content quality. This scenario negatively impacts many parties, the authors, the OU, and IEEE as a whole. So please ensure that you have your OU resources involved in all conferences that you sponsor. A Memorandum of Understanding is required since there are two or more parties involved in a technically co-sponsored conference. You document on the MOU how your OU is directly involved in the technical program. The financial sponsors are permitted to use the IEEE brand to promote and market the conference. Please ensure that all websites and communications adhere to the IEEE brand guidelines found on IEEE.org. The conference proceedings from a technically co-sponsored conference are only eligible for publication in Explore. We cannot promote any guarantee of publication due to the content quality audit process we just reviewed. The technically co-sponsoring IEEE OU is not responsible for running the conference. It is the financial sponsor's responsibility. As a reminder, the same online conference application process applies. Often an IEEE OU will technically co-sponsor a conference to learn more about an emerging scientific area. It offers IEEE brand exposure to a potentially new audience. You may have interest in working with a particular non-IEEE organization on a conference, but would like to see firsthand if it's a good fit for your OU. This is a way to participate without incurring any financial risk. Technical co-sponsorship also provides activities for your OU members to become involved and contribute. The bottom line is, if you do not have resources available to align with the conference, you should not technically co-sponsor a conference. A memorandum of understanding is required when two or more entities agree to sponsor an IEEE conference. So all co-sponsored conferences, including technically co-sponsored conferences, require an MOU. An MOU is approved via an electronic signatory process which ensures all parties understand what they are responsible for. As mentioned before, this is a good business practice. It protects all parties' interests. Each MOU is approved by Conference Business Services. We are now going to take a moment and test your knowledge on this topic.
Please read the following question.
The answer is true. Sole sponsorship indicates that you have 100% financial responsibility, whether there is a surplus or deficit.
Please read the following question.
The answer is true. All co-sponsored IEEE conferences require a Memorandum of Understanding completed. It defines the responsibilities of all parties sponsoring the conference.
Please read the following question.
The answer is false. Providing technical co-sponsorship requires the IEEE OU to have direct and substantial involvement in the technical program. Some examples include becoming the technical program chair, becoming a track chair, assigning reviewers, or reviewing papers. Section 2. We are now going to review ways to work with non-IEEE organizations. The IEEE brand is recognized around the world in engineering and technology communities. Many conferences approach an IEEE OU requesting sponsorship because of our renowned volunteers, and they want to align their conference with the IEEE brand. The IEEE brand brings immediate credibility to a conference, so we need to ensure that when we are sponsoring a conference, it is a high-quality conference. All approved IEEE conferences are promoted in the IEEE Search, which is an excellent marketing tool aimed at a very targeted audience. Organizations also like to approach IEEE because it provides an opportunity for the conference proceedings to be published in IEEE Explore. When an IEEE OU agrees to provide conference sponsorship, there are many positives we can achieve. You can potentially reach a new audience, which can increase both attendance at your event and IEEE membership. Working with other organizations can help foster new ideas and can potentially bring additional resources to the conference. One of the most significant benefits of attending a conference has always been the ability to network with your peers, and this is a valuable byproduct of working with other organizations. Partnering also minimizes your OU's risk and total organizing efforts. So there are many beneficial reasons to work with other IEEE OUs or non-IEEE organizations. We just need to make sure we sponsor the right opportunities. We will expand on this issue later in the training module. As far as timing goes, you should look to engage your sponsors early in the planning process. In many cases, it's helpful to have a draft budget completed to help you determine if you believe including other organizations would improve conference attendance, for example. In other cases, you may work with sponsors on crafting the entire conference plan. In either case, the key point is to engage your sponsors early in the conference planning stage. Once you've gained verbal agreement from your sponsors, you can then begin the online conference application process. As far as how you should partner with organizations, a key point is, do you really know this partner? In many cases, we are approached by non-IEEE organizations that we are not familiar with. So when this occurs, some due diligence is required by the IEEE OU and conference organizers. Some key high-level considerations are brand related. What is the brand of the potential partner? Are they well known or little known? The IEEE brand should be aligned with the top organizations and universities in a specific field of interest or location. Keep in mind that the IEEE brand elevates the lesser-known brand. Another recommendation is to seek out feedback from anyone in your OU who has worked with this organization in the past. Did they have a positive or negative experience? An IEEE OU is never required to sponsor a conference. In fact, we should be selective and agree to only sponsor conferences that provide value to our membership. The key takeaway here is that these organizations and conference sponsorship opportunities require relationship development, personal interaction, and not just third-party research before entering into a sponsorship agreement. Here we have some recommendations based on identified best practices on how to evaluate organizations that approach your OU requesting IEEE sponsorship. There are three initial factors to consider: fit, available resources, and timing. Our first consideration is the opportunity in my field of interest, or for an MGA OU, is the location within my geographic area. Secondly, does the conference topic fill a void where IEEE is not known as a subject matter leader? If yes, this could be an excellent benefit to your membership. One of the most significant considerations is, does your OU have available resources to participate in this conference? If you do not have available resources, how can you be adequately involved? The answer to this question is simple: you cannot. Do you have enough lead time to execute a quality conference? If you are approached 2 months in advance of a conference start date, you cannot derive enough value nor ensure the quality of the conference proceedings. Appropriate lead time is required. Another timing consideration: does the sponsorship opportunity
compete with any existing IEEE or non-IEEE conferences in particular field of interest or geographic location. If it will compete with another conference, you will reduce the pool of potential attendees, which can negatively impact the financial success of any conference. So, if either the fit, available resources, or timing is not right, you should most likely not sponsor the conference at this time. If the fit, resources, and timing are all satisfactory, continue your. As you continue your evaluation, research the non-IEEE organization's website. Review previous conferences if they are listed. When possible, review conference statistics, as they can tell you a lot about the quality of a conference. For example, if you see each reviewer was assigned 25 full papers to review, you should question the review process and the quality of the entire technical program. Some OUs request that the non-IEEE organization present the opportunity to their conference committee or key personnel. Other OUs collect the information that's noted on these slides via an application process. If after your assessment you are unsure if the opportunity is a good one or not, always remember you can contact MCE for assistance. We are here to help you. The most significant takeaway from this process is to evaluate all opportunities. Take the time to review key information on previous conferences. Look at the organization's leadership team, and then make a good business decision on behalf of IEEE. Without this due diligence, you can potentially participate in a low-quality conference, which can negatively impact the IEEE brand and your OUs. We are now going to take a moment and test your knowledge on this topic.
Please read the following question.
The answer is true. All sponsorship opportunities should be evaluated to confirm nonprofit status, appropriate fit, resources are available, and the timing is right. Section 3. We will cover conference supporters, finding sponsors, and a suggested communication plan for your conference. Companies that are for-profit can support your conference, but there are parameters. A for-profit company cannot be an official sponsor of an IEEE conference. A for-profit company can, however, add significant value to your conference. First, they have to be designated as either a supporter, patron, partner, or contributor. Second, they cannot be involved in any aspect of planning or executing an IEEE conference. But here are some examples of how for-profit companies can participate and improve your conference's value proposition. A for-profit company can donate funds that you can use to help execute your conference. They could provide funds for a dinner for your attendees. They could provide small trinkets to your audience. A university could donate a facility to host a conference. A for-profit company could also provide a dynamic keynote speaker that could potentially increase your attendance. Another big advantage to having for-profit companies support your conference is that you can promote your conference to their constituency. So don't shy away from working with for-profit companies. Just remember to follow the guidelines on this slide. And if you ever have any questions, you can always contact MCE. We are here to help you. If you would like to approach another IEEE OU with a sponsorship opportunity, you can locate all OUs on IEEE.org under the Society's homepage and Geographical Activities page. Both links can be found at the end of this presentation under Resources. Please remember, MCE is here to assist you with this process. We encourage you to reach out to us if you need any assistance or guidance. It is always a good business practice to reach out to either the appropriate section or society when hosting an IEEE conference. You want to include all the potential resources that are available to you. When a society sponsors a conference, it is suggested that they reach out to the local IEEE section and inform them of your plans. The section has valuable local knowledge of customs, laws, and may have existing business relationships that you can leverage. When a section or chapter is sponsoring a conference, it's always good to reach out to the appropriate society so you can potentially add technical resources. We are one IEEE, and this type of communication leads to a potential increase in attendance, IEEE membership, and the ability to engage student branches. We are now going to take a moment and test your knowledge on this topic.
Please read the following question.
The answer is true. A for-profit company can participate in an IEEE conference, but must be designated as a conference supporter, not as an official sponsor. In this role, the company cannot be involved in the overall execution of the conference. Section 4. Meetings, Conferences, and Events, otherwise known as MCE. The Meetings, Conferences, and Events team, also known as MCE, is a valuable resource for all conference organizers and IEEE OUs when planning or executing a conference. MCE has experience in all phases of the conference planning process. MCE can act as a consultant or provide actual services, and we are very easy to engage. All you need to do is to send us an email to our Customer Relationship Management team at IEEE-MCE@IEEE.org. We look forward to helping you. Here are just some of the areas we could provide guidance on, be it sponsorship, publications, finance, marketing, just to mention a few. We have professionals who are ready to assist you and help make your conference a total success. MCE also has a specific business team dedicated to providing actual conference-related services. This team is made up of highly experienced certified meeting planners. And as you can see, we have worked with over 50,000 events since our inception. MCE's Event Management Services team works with both large and small conferences. So reach out to MCE and request pricing for any of the services listed on this slide. You can also give us a call if you have any questions. We're always glad to assist. But remember, we are competitively priced, and no one knows more about executing an IEEE conference than the Event Management Services team.
So if you have any questions about how to execute your conference or are experiencing any challenges, please reach out to MCE's Customer Relationship Management team at IEEE-MCE@IEEE.org. You are our customer, and we're here to assist you.
We are now going to take a moment and test your knowledge on this last topic.
Please read the following question.
The answer is false. MCE can provide complimentary guidance as you plan your conference, but we also have a highly experienced event management services team that can provide actual services such as conference registration or event planning, just to mention a few. In summary, there are multiple types of conference sponsorship that IEEE provides. You can choose to have a financial investment in a conference or to not have a financial stake. All conference sponsorship opportunities require research before entering into an agreement with a non-IEEE organization, and you're never required to provide sponsorship unless it's a good business decision on behalf of IEEE. The MCE team is here to support you during any phase of your conference. The following slides are informational. The first is a glossary of key terms. The second is a resource slide that provides hyperlinks to additional information related to providing IEEE conference sponsorship. MCE would like to thank you for taking the time to learn more about IEEE conference sponsorship. We hope you found this training module both useful and informative. Please feel free to send us any comments related to this training. And once again, we thank you for your time.